So to start 9.2, we're just going to talk about adding and subtracting matrices. In 9.1, we just talked, it was just the introduction to matrices and what they were about. So we're just going to talk about adding and subtracting them here. So this core concept part, where it's talking about addition and subtraction of matrices, it says that, you know, as long as there's corresponding elements, so that means the matrices have to be the same size. So in the examples here, these are three variables, or I'm sorry, a 3 by 3 matrices plus or minus a 3 by 3 matrices. If you had two different sizes matrices, you can't add them together. Okay, so all this wording that it has in the core concepts, kind of confusing. So let's just go down to number 1 and do it, and it's not as confusing that way. So number 1 says it wants matrix A plus matrix B. Now I'm going to write them out because it's notes. You probably want to write them out in the notes, but on the practice, if you can do it without writing, I don't care if you write it out or not. But matrix A is this matrix. I'm just copying it from up above. Tells me it's adding it, so I'm going to put a plus sign to matrix B, and I'll write matrix B. Okay, there's matrix A plus matrix B. Now, just to double check, are they the same size? Well, this is a 2 by 2 matrix. Oops, didn't draw the 2 by 2. And this is a 2 by 2 matrix. So they are the same size, so I can actually add them together. If you can't add them together, you're going to write impossible, okay? But in this case, we can. So let's go ahead and add them together. So when you add matrices together, it's the corresponding position. So this is first column, first row. This is first column, first row. And my symbol in between is addition, okay? This is what works for addition and subtraction. It is different when we do multiplication. So don't worry, we're not doing that today. So, all right, so when I write this matrix, I'm just going to have a 4 plus a negative 3. Underneath it, I will have 2 plus 5. Second column, I'll have a negative 6 plus 7. Underneath it, I'll have a 3 plus negative 9. So to get my final answer, I'm just going to simplify those. So I should end up, because I had 2 by 2 matrices added together, I will end up with a 2 by 2 matrix. So 4 plus a negative 3 is 1. 2 plus 5 is 7. Negative 6 plus 7 is 1. 3 plus negative 9 is negative 6. So there is matrix A plus matrix B. It gives me a 2 by 2 matrix. So like I said, if you can do it without rewriting everything and just look, oh, it's 4 plus a negative 3, and then you got the 1. I don't care if you do it that way. That's fine too. But for note purposes, I'm writing it out. Okay? All right, so number 2 wants matrix A minus matrix B. So matrix A is this. Minus, and then I'll rewrite matrix B from up above. If you do write them, always write them from what you were given, not from like a previous problem. So I'm not going to copy, just in case I made a mistake on number 1, I'll go up top where A, B, and C are listed and write them from there. Okay, so this one is subtraction. So I take the corresponding parts, so I have the 4 and the negative 3 are in the corresponding position, first column, first row. And the symbol in between is minus. So when I'm doing this, I'll have a 4 minus negative 3. And that's not showing up very well. Sorry about that. Underneath it will be a 2 minus 5. Second column is a negative 6 minus 7. Underneath it is 3 minus negative 9. With subtraction, sometimes it does make it better to at least write this matrices that I wrote here because of those minus negatives. That's where people mess up the most, okay? So when I do it, 4 minus negative 3, well, that makes it actually plus a positive. So 4 plus 3 is 7. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. Next column, negative 6 minus 7 is negative 13. And then 3 minus negative 9, remember that makes plus a positive, so 3 plus 9 is 12. So there is the matrix of A, matrix A minus matrix B. And then number 3, it wants matrix A plus matrix C. So if I write those out, or I'm sorry, did I say minus? I meant plus. Matrix A plus matrix C. I don't know if I said it right, but all right. I'm just writing them out. Whoops, copying them from up above. All right, so matrix A is a 2 by 2 matrix. Matrix B is not. It is a 2 by 3 matrix. Therefore, I can't add those together. And so I would write not possible or impossible. I don't care how you word it. And then it's done. So you can tell by just looking at it. You don't need to rewrite them on your practice if you don't want to. Okay? But go ahead and go to the next page. We're just going to do this number 4, and then this will stop for now. Whoops, I'm having trouble here. All right. So this table shows the number of endangered and threatened species in the United States and in the world. How many more endangered and threatened species are there on the world list than on the U.S. list? So we have to kind of interpret what this is saying. So if it wants to know how many more are on the world than the U.S., means I need to take the matrix for the world and subtract the matrix for the U.S. Whoa, that didn't write well. There you go. Okay. Well, if I look over at this chart, it has the United States shows the endangered and threatened are the 2 columns under the United States. The rows are all the types of animals. Then the world has endangered and threatened. So this actually makes 2 matrices. This is one matrix, and that's the U.S. This is the second matrix, and that's the world. So it's wanting me to take world minus U.S. Now, I'm not rewriting those matrices because that takes a lot of space, but I will write the subtraction part. So if I start first column, first row of world, because you start with world, 319 minus 68. Okay, underneath it, 252 minus 77. 78 minus 14. 19, it's not writing. 19 minus 11. And 82 minus 71. So that's the first column for endangered, the differences in endangered. And then we'll do the second column, starting with the world. So 27 minus 10, 19 minus 13, 37 minus 22. Oops, that did not write well. There we go. 11 minus 10 and 44 minus 43. Okay, so that's the math that I'm doing. And because of the stylus, I'm writing really big. I'm actually going to put my answers over here to the side because I don't have room there now. When I add those together, subtract, I'm finding differences here. 319 minus 68 gives me 251. 252 minus 77 is 175. 78 minus 14 is 64. 19 minus 11 is 8. And 82 minus 71 is 11. So the differences of endangered species are shown. And then to do the second column, 27 minus 10 is 17. 19 minus 13 is 6. 32 minus 22, minus 22 is 15. 11 minus 10 is 1, and 44 minus 43 is 1. Okay, so that is showing me how many more endangered and threatened species there are in the world, well, outside of the United States in the world. Okay? So you will have a problem like this in your practice, and it just says, like, it wants the number of participants in something, but it has this column for schools and a column for participants. It actually wants both columns, okay? So you're filling out the same size of matrix as were given to you, even though it's not that clear. The wording isn't very clear, and I'm sorry about that. All right, so these problems we went over today goes with problems 1 through 5 in the practice, so that's what you're to work on.